Next is the combustion chamber. For the combustion chamber, which is going to be our layout fitting number 7, it's going to look a lot like the last fitting we did. What we have overall here is going to be 28¼ inches. We're going to be 14¾ high. This notch out here is going to be 8⅛ inches. Notch out here is going to be 10 inches. It's going to be divided up. I'm going to bend it just like we did that other one. And this, of course, is nowhere close to scale. We're going to be 12⅛ inches. We're going to be 4 inches. We're going to be another 12⅛ inches. So we're going to need one of these, 28¼ by 14¾ of. Now what I'm going to use on this one is 18 gauge stainless steel. We happen to have a scrap piece here, and so I'm going to use that. If you want to use a black iron, I recommend at least a 16 gauge because you don't want it to burn out on you. However, the 16 gauge and the heavier gauge metals are going to add a lot of weight to it, but just the same, it's not going to be near as much weight as what the castable refractory will add. So in this situation, I'm doing 18 gauge stainless. Just different qualities, different types. Like there's a 316 and a 304. Those are some of the most common. And 316, if I recall right, has the better thermal contraction numbers, and so that'd probably be one that's going to be better for you, but it's going to be more expensive. If you get any of the stainless, it's going to work better than if you go with just a plain black. And of course, a plain black 16 gauge is going to work a lot better than a plain black or even a galvanized 24 gauge. The heavier you get, the more durable it's going to be, but the less workability we're going to have with it. And so on this one, instead of doing the 1-inch flange like we did the other, this is actually just going to have a 3/4 inch flange. That way we'll be able to bend it up in the brake much more easily than we did with the other one. To lay out the heat exchanger, first we set the scribe to 3/4 inch. Mark that along the bottom. Next we'll set the scribe at 4¾ inches. We'll mark that just a little bit on each side, and mark that all the way over. Next, set the scribe at 8⅛ inches. Mark up. Right here's where our intersection is, and that's the piece we'll be cutting out. Now make a mark at 12⅛ inches over. Another one at 16⅛. Do the same on both ends. And cutting out this the 18 gauge stainless, you can try using a pair of Bulldog bench snips, such as this right here, or you could try using a pair of electric shears, or if you want you could even try using a bandsaw or a metal cutting blade in a sawzall. There's a lot of different options. You could even use a peanut grinder, one of those little 4-inch disc grinders with a cutting wheel. For me, I'm just going to use the shear. Now, with your marks at this end, we need to cut this at a 45-degree angle. Probably the easiest way would be to just come over and mark an additional 3/4 of an inch at each side of your mark here, and then notch from that point up. Of course, you can use a tri-square to get that also. Then notch it. Now take it to the brake. This will be bent to the inside this time, and then we'll bend both of those.